From the American Family News Center, I'm Rusty Pugh. Here's an update on some of the top stories today, Wednesday, September 24th. A member of the Senate Banking Committee says the massive Wall Street bailout proposal requested by Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson will take away the free market and institute socialism in America. Kentucky Republican Senator Jim Bunning says he has serious concerns about the $700 billion bailout plan to fix the current financial crisis facing Wall Street. In a teleconference with reporters, Bunning argued that under the proposal, the free market is essentially dead.
Secretary Paulson has done nothing to change my mind. I met with him personally on Sunday for 2.5 hours, with Ben Bernanke also at the meeting, and they failed to fully explain how this is going to help the American people solve the problem that is internal in Wall Street. He has simply said, give me $700 billion and I will fix it. Well, I, for one, do not trust the words of Secretary Paulson.
Bunning notes Secretary Paulson told us the bailout of Bear Stearns would solve the problem, but then he bailed out Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and AIG was just icing on the cake. Bunning says he wants to know when the bailouts will stop because American taxpayers are being sold a bill of goods. Meanwhile, some Americans don't feel that taxpayers should be bailing out Wall Street. We get more in this report from Ross Simpson.
As Congress debates the fate of $700 billion in taxpayer money to finance the bailout of troubled financial institutions, Americans are viewing the rescue plan with mixed emotions.
You know, when I'm not able to pay for my mortgage, who's going to bail me out? It definitely won't be the government. So I think it's wrong.
I think it's a good way to save our economy. I hope it works.
Under the plan, the government would buy a range of rotten securities with the goal of putting financial institutions in a better position to raise capital and lend more freely.
This troubled asset purchase program on its own is the single most effective thing we can do to help homeowners, the American people, and to stimulate our economy.
Unclogging credit problems is critical to helping the faltering economy get back on its feet. But for folks like Robert Jennings, bailing out companies who made bad financial decisions is just wrong.
I'm just sick of it. I'm an American. I love the country, but they got to stop spending our tax dollars like that. It's not right.
As the debate continues, a current sticking point centers around a demand from many Democrats and some Republicans to strip executives at failing financial institutions of lucrative golden parachutes on their way out the door.
My resentment is towards the fat cats on Wall Street who are probably going to ride off into the sunset with millions in their saddlebags while the rest of us are worried about our 401ks and, you know, what's going to happen tomorrow.
In his testimony, Secretary Paulson called for further regulation in the financial sector. That view sits well with New York economist Peter Cardillo.
I think we all need to realize that when we have to seek taxpayers' money, that there should be some regulations, and someone who perhaps was at fault in contributing to the over speculation in the market of that particular situation should be held responsible.
While it's still unclear if new provisions will make it into the rescue plan, Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke made one thing clear during his testimony. Failure to act will put the nation at risk of recession, higher unemployment, and even a bigger increase in home foreclosures. Ross Simpson, The Associated Press.
An expelled student entered a Christian high school during chapel and pulled a gun on the pastor before he was disarmed and arrested. Orla Reese has more.
A brave student at a Christian high school in Canada captured a terrifying ordeal on a cell phone camera. A student who was expelled last year walked into a gathering and pulled a gun.
A guy just walked in with a gun. He was an expelled student from last year, and then he just gave Pastor Fry a big letter.
The gunman let some of the students out of the school, then the SWAT team moved in. The school principal eventually managed to make his way close to the gunman.
It was at the end when I went to snatch the gun out of his hand that I tried to move a little quicker and sneak up on him.
Over 300 students were in the gym, hostages of their former classmate. Police say the suspect is in custody and the weapon was recovered. A student who witnessed the incident says the gun didn't look real. Police say it was a pellet gun. Orla Reese, the Associated Press.
Millions of Christian teenagers turned out at their public schools this morning for an annual event known as See You at the Pole.
As the sun rose over the Tupelo High School football field, hundreds of teenagers gathered around the flagpole. It was a time for praise and prayer.
The theme for this year's See You at the Pole is Connect. It's based on 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 10, where the young prophet responds to God's call on his life. Many of the students we talked with say that just like Samuel, they too can connect with God, with fellow believers, and with their campus and community.
It encourages me because, like, going to a school like the size of Tupelo, sometimes you feel like you're the only one who, like, is a Christian or whatever. Then, like, whenever you have hard days, it kind of gets you down. But then, like, coming out here and, like, seeing all these other people, it just, like, helps you know that, like, there are other, like, people here and, like, people in your grade, just people in high school that, like, have the same beliefs as you and, like, know what you're going through and stuff.
Other students say events such as See You at the Pole encourage them as they stand for Christ in a public school setting.
This is just a great opportunity to see all the Christian faces on the campus, and it's awesome because we're by the parking lot and the music's pumping and people can hear what's going on over here, and it's probably the biggest outreach thing that we have at the school.
The students were also encouraged by the fact that their peers around the nation were gathering at the same time, asking God to bring a true spiritual awakening. Allie Martin, Tupelo.
The student-initiated and student-led event began at a Texas high school in 1990 and has spread to all 50 states and other countries. For See You at the Pole, students gather around their school's flagpole for a time of prayer and worship. They are encouraged to pray for each other, their school, city, nation, and the world. The theme for this year's event was Connect. It is taken from 1 Samuel chapter 3, when the young prophet answers God's call on his life. And residents in Galveston are walking through their homes for the first time since Hurricane Ike slammed into the Texas coast. Traffic backed up for 10 miles as city officials finally started letting them back on the island. Those are the headlines to now. From the AFN News Center, I'm Rusty Pugh.